Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Millennial Money. So this week I'm going to be talking about emergency funds, what they are and why they are so important for you to start saving towards one. So what is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is a cash buffer that you put aside that will help you out and protect you financially in terms of financial crisis, such as losing a job, or if a large bill does arise. So why are emergency funds so important? As I said, they protect you in times of financial crisis, such as losing a job. It means that you are still covered in terms of paying your bills and your mortgage. Not only that, they also prevent you from getting into debt. If you have a cash buffer or an emergency fund that you can go to when you need to pay a large bill, it prevents you having to put the bill on a credit card or taking out a loan. So it prevents you from getting into debt. Also, it improves your financial well-being because you know that you are safe and secure in times of financial emergency and financial crisis. And not only that, it will make you feel a lot better knowing that you are safe and comfortable should the worst arise. Okay, so you may be thinking, I don't know how I'm going to start saving for an emergency fund. I don't have any spare cash each month. And how am I going to cut back? So I've just got a few tips I can share that will maybe help you get started today. So the first thing is to cut back on things that you are spending day to day. So cut back on your day-to-day spending. Now I know as millennials, we get a lot of flack about spending money on avocados, spending too much money on coffee, and that's the reason why we can't save or buy a house. Now, I don't agree. I think that it's important that we spend money on things that we want to each month. However, what you can do to improve your financial well-being and take control of your finances is just budget for those things. So if you like treating yourself to a coffee each day, do it, but budget for it. So include it in your bills and expenses. Now, realistically, if you want to save, you will have to cut back. So maybe don't buy a coffee every day. Maybe buy one every Monday, every Friday to start the week, to end the week, and budget for those coffees a month. So budget £10 a week, 40 quid a month for your weekly coffees. And at least then you know that you've got the right amount of money that you can afford to pay on those coffees, and you're still saving, but you're not depriving yourself from things that you want. And I think that's really important when we talk about money, because why should you deprive yourself of things that you want? You work really hard each month and you want to reward yourself. And if your reward is defined by having a coffee, then you do that. But just cut back and still reward yourself at the same time. Now, another thing you could do is you could ask if you could work from home more often, or you could walk to work, or maybe take public transport, which is a bit cheaper than running a car. There are just a few ideas that you can think of. Obviously, it's not realistic for everyone, but if you have the opportunity to do so, it may save you a bit of extra money each month. And another thing is to assess where your money goes. Are you spending money each month on wasteful subscriptions? Are you paying for something that you no longer use? Also with your car, if you've got a car on finance, do you need a car on finance anymore? Have you reached the middle of your agreement? Are you at a position in your agreement where you can return the car at no extra cost to yourself? Are you in a position to maybe buy a car outright? If you aren't right now, maybe that's something that you want to consider for the future. Also, maybe you could cut back on your TV, such as Sky. Do you need all of the packages? Because as they add up, they can become so expensive each month. Maybe you might be better off signing up to the subscription services such as Netflix and Disney Plus instead of having all of that in your whole Sky package. So how are you going to go away today and start building your emergency funds? Here's 4 tips that you can take away with you today, and hopefully you'll be on your way to building an emergency fund. So number 1, set a goal or target. So set your goal, emergency fund amount, and then once you know what you're working towards, initially, it will seem daunting because you've got nothing to put towards it, but you'll be surprised how quickly your money builds up. So the general rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months salary. Some people say 3 to 6 months of bills and expenses because obviously you just need to ensure that you're covering your bills and your monthly outgoings. Not everything in your spending each month is an essential. However, the more money you've got saved is better, right? So I think personally, 3 to 6 months of salary is an ideal amount, and you'll feel a lot more comfortable knowing that you've got that extra cash buffer there should any problems arise. Number 2, treat your emergency fund as a bill. So that means when your salary comes in each month, transfer an amount into your emergency fund immediately. Treat it as a bill that has to be paid each month. And then once you get used to it, you won't miss that money anymore, because when you don't have it, you won't miss it. And if you treat it as a bill, you're paying yourself first, paying it regularly each month, and you'll be surprised how quickly your pot starts to build up. Tip number 3, if you have any extra money, if you've done a bit of extra overtime, if you've got a bonus, put that in your savings, put it in your emergency fund. Or if you're thinking, oh my goodness, I've worked so hard for that money, I don't want to put all of it into savings, then don't be so hard on yourself, but put some of it in your savings, maybe put half in your savings and then use the other half to treat yourself. It's really important when it comes to money and personal finance that we aren't depriving ourselves of things that we want. Obviously, if we want to achieve our goals, we do have to cut back. And tip number 4 is budget. So budget and analyze your spending. Now in this video up here, I share my own budget. So I share how I budget each month using Apple Notes and Monzo. But there are a variety of other ways that you can budget. So there are loads of apps out there if you don't know how to get started, such as Emma, Yolt, Money Dashboard. Now these apps are really great. You connect all of your bank accounts and your credit cards, and you can analyze your spending. Emma is particularly great for highlighting any wasteful subscriptions so you don't have to trawl back through your old bank statements to try and find what you're spending or potentially wasting your money on. So they're really good. You need to check those out. We do actually review all of those on the Money to the Masses website, and I will link to those below. There's also some app-only banks out there that help you budget and categorize your spending, such as Monzo and Starling. You've probably heard about them now, but they're really great. I personally use Monzo, and I use it to categorize my spending and to move money over into pot. Another great feature of the banking apps is that they have round-up spending, so you can save as you spend. So say you go into a shop and you buy something that is £1.60, they round up to the nearest pound. So that spare 40p, they will round up and automatically save it for you into one of their pots. So I use round-up spending, and it's brilliant because you're saving as you're spending every day. You might be going to Tesco's, buy something for your lunch, and then it rounds up the spending for you. So you're saving as you're spending. And you'll be surprised, although it's not massive amounts, although on some of the apps now, I know you can double or treble the amount that you're saving. It's surprising how quickly you can end up having 20, 50 quid saved away in your app without having to actually do anything or think about what you're doing. Also, there are some apps out there that help you to automatically save. So you can use Chip, Clio, Plum. These analyze your spending and work out how much you have each month that you can put away and save. So it does it for you. You don't have to do anything. All you do is you spend your money each month, and then the app will do all the hard work for you. Again, we review all of these apps, so I will put a link to those apps below. So that's it for today's Millennial Money. If you have an emergency fund, or if you have any tips on how you reach your emergency fund, then please share them below. If you like this video, please subscribe to the Money to the Masses YouTube channel, and then go and find us on our social media. So our Facebook, Money to the Masses, our Instagram at Money to the Masses, and our Twitter at Money to the Masses with the number 2. Thanks so much for watching.